Name a better love story than baseball players and cheating. Sports are supposed to be competitive without cheating, but baseball players will hear none of that. Until date, pine tar remains the most classic cheating stunt among baseball players. Talking about classics, we'll start with this classic pine tar cheating incident. Number 10, Michael Pineda. Michael Pineda, you're not supposed to be first on this list, but your attention is needed. Pineda's history with pine tar is simply hilarious. Imagine getting caught over and over and over again over the same substance. It sounds like a crack addiction, but it is what it is for Pineda. Besides his successful heist using pine tar, Pineda was first caught by the Boston TV cameras in 2014. During their game against the Red Sox, the Yankees player couldn't resist the temptation of using a foreign substance. The pine tar Pineda used was quite obvious as it was in his hands, but he went scot-free. You would have thought Pineda called it a day and moved on from using such illegal substances, but the reverse was the case as he went into another game a few weeks later to use pine tar yet again. The umpires had to eject him this time around after finding pine tar on his neck. Of all places to hide pine tar, Pineda decided to hide it on his neck? His neck! For his actions, Pineda was hit with a 10-game suspension, but that is unsurprising considering the audacity of using such substances more than once. Pineda might have an addiction to pine tar cheating, but this next dude takes it to another level. Number 9, Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford wouldn't be outrightly passed on as a pine tar cheater. The substance he used was just an alternative for pine tar. Also, his story is a funny one. Ford used what was called a gunk ball, which was a mixture of turpentine, baby oil, and resin. Okay, maybe this is even worse than using actual pine tar. And it is said that there was a time Yogi Berra mistook the mixture as a deodorant from Ford because he put it in a roll-on dispenser. And at some point in the game, Berra applied the mixture only for it to glue his arms to his body. This was the kind of crazy stuff Ford did to get ahead. There was also a time he cheated with his wedding ring. No, he wasn't cheating on his wife in the field, but Ford admitted to using his wedding ring to cut some parts of the ball before applying the pine tar-like mixture. Ford clearly has a habit of cheating, but Kenny Rogers is a testament that old habits never die. Number 8, Kenny Rogers. Rogers was 41 when he was caught using the pine tar mixture. At 41 and using pine tar, you could swear he didn't start using such substances at that age. There might have been several times he used them without getting caught, but that's not the point. It was in the 2006 postseason when Rogers was obviously having a good time making back-to-back successful throws. Officials might have wondered how Rogers achieved such a feat at 41, but they were soon to point it out when he was caught with an illegal substance believed to be a mixture of pine tar. But the truth is, there are still debates about whether or not he actually used pine tar that day. Nevertheless, Rogers might be 41 and cheating, but another person beat him hands down on age rankings. Number 7, Gaylord Perry. Gaylord Perry was around 44 years and playing the 21st season of his career when he was caught cheating. Like, you know that moment when you're getting close to quitting the game and everyone expects you to end on a high note? Well, Perry chose a low note. This happened on August 23, 1982, when umpire Dave Phillips caught Perry having a funny-looking substance on his baseball. Every pitcher knows the foreign substances are always pine tar or gunk. Perry received a 10-day suspension after this discovery. Worse, people didn't forget that incident quickly as they even made commercials out of it. Well, at least Perry got to play the game before getting caught. This next guy didn't. Number 6, Joel Peralta. Tampa Bay reliever Joel Peralta didn't even get to play in the game he was caught with pine tar in his gloves. It happened in 2012 in a game between Tampa Bay and the Nationals. Before Peralta entered the game, the umpires immediately surrounded him, demanding to inspect his glove. The inspection showed that Peralta had a good quantity of pine tar in his glove, and it had to be confiscated. But there's a catch here, folks. Peralta suspected his former team's coach to be the person who leaked his sticky secret. When asked about the incident, Peralta said he knows his former teammates at the Nationals won't give in to the officials. His suspect? His former coach. And he was right. His former coach, Davey Johnson, actually ratted him out. But for the next cheating incident, the player's body gave him out. Number 5, Will Smith. Will Smith? Wait, we're not talking about Hollywood's Will Smith. It's definitely not the one that slapped Chris Rock. This one is a baseball player. While playing the Atlanta Braves in 2015, Smith was caught with a foreign substance on his arm. Of all the places to hide a foreign substance, Smith chose his arm. Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez came out of the dugout and asked the umpires to look at Smith's arm. When the camera showed Smith's arm, damn! It was as shiny as a star, but on Smith's side, he claimed it was a sunscreen substance he forgot to remove before entering the game. It was a foreign substance anyway, and he immediately got his ejection. Will Smith put up a walk of shame, and on his way, he swore at the umpires. Fortunately, none of them got slapped. But talk about learning from history and not finding Brian Mattis in class even after what happened to Smith. Number 4, Brian Mattis. Brian Mattis didn't learn from the woes of Will Smith, or maybe he wanted to try his luck. Either way, habits never die for baseball players. Besides having a substance that looked like pine tar on his forearm, the major highlight of this incident was the timeline. Mattis was caught just days after umpires found a similar substance on Will Smith. You would have thought Smith's incident would discourage Mattis, but it didn't. During the game against the Marlins in the 12th inning, the Miami Marlins manager signaled to the umpire to check Mattis's arm. Alas, they found a sticky substance in his arm and he was subsequently evicted. Like Will Smith, Mattis was also suspended for 8 games. Enough for the players of the new generation. Pine tar cheating incidents were even more iconic with the older generations. Number 3, Jay Howell. This one happened in 1988 with Jay Howell playing as a relief pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The umpires had discovered that Howell had pine tar on his glove on inspection, and he had been ejected. His team ended up losing 8-4, and he got a 3-game ban. As for this next play, it ended with the umpire getting invited to have a beer for doing his job. Number 2, Julian Tavares. Julian Tavares has decided to cheat on his former team, the Pirates, on this one. An absolutely bad move because the Pirates alerted the umpires to where Tavares hit his sticky companion. Umpire Joe West didn't waste time making the big catch. Ultimately, Tavares was ejected from the game, but guess his next action? He invited umpire Ron Kulpa to have a beer with him after the game. Tavares might have been friendly with umpires, but not George Brett. In fact, George Brett's incident was so iconic, they gave it an official name. Are you doubting? It even has a Wikipedia name dedicated to it. Number 1, George Brett. George Brett wasn't only good at playing baseball, but also at fighting for his right. But was he right here? Definitely not. The famous pine tar incident was the most interesting in this video, and for good reason. The Royals were trailing the Yankees 4-3, and they desperately needed a win for that game. That's where Brett came in. Brett homered to give the Royals a 5-4 lead in the game. But that didn't go without the Yankees coach noticing a dent in Brett's bat. That was too much pine tar than allowed. After what looked like the longest check, the umpires agreed with the Yankees coach and called out Brett. Knowing what had just happened, Brett stumbled out of the dugout trying to punch the umpire's face. Luck on their side that Brett was immediately dragged away amidst curses and kicks. Imagine being called out for cheating and you end up intimidating the umpires at the same time. Perhaps that's what made this incident the most famous. If you enjoyed this video about pine tar cheater, baseball player caught, check out the video on this screen now or the one we posted below because we're sure you'll like that one too. Let us know in the comments if there's another baseball player whose journey you'd like us to cover. See you there.